Hey guys, my name is Grace and my presentation is over Jim's analysis on Treasure Island. There are many different characters that influenced Jim throughout his development. These influences were either seen by Jim as a role model, a mentor, a companion, or as a father figure. However, we see as throughout the story continues that these influences change from one character to a different character based on how Jim himself develops and progresses as a young man. At the beginning of the novel, Jim is presented to us as being very afraid, he's curious, and he's very dependent, especially towards his mother. Whenever Billy Gunn dies, he calls her right after, wanting her comfort, wanting her there. It shows that Billy is still a young boy. He still wants his mother's comfort. He still wants her to be there, just like any other little boy does still. The first characters to impact Jim were the doctor and the squire. The doctor especially, after Jim's father passes, he creates a special bond with the doctor. He kind of sees him as a father figure. He looks up to him. Whenever he finds a treasure map, he goes to him directly and gives him the treasure map because he trusts him. Jim sees the squire as maybe a companion. He admires the way that he is so quick to find a ship and to have everything organized. But the relationship between the two men progress as the story continues. The following quote shows how Jim is taking care of his mother instead of the mother taking care of him. This just shows how quickly Jim is developing and changing throughout the story. The readers now witness how quickly the development of Jim is changing. He is now more courageous, he's more independent, he has more strength, and he's more clever. And this just keeps going further and further, and he just keeps growing more and more. And you see this whenever he fights Hans. The fight that Jim has with Hans not only shows how brave Jim has become over the past few chapters, but also the development between them. Jim at first was afraid of pirates, and now here he is, not only fighting one, but also killing one. After the fight, Jim has an awakening or has a realization of maybe a self-identity. He now feels more in control, he feels powerful, he feels in possession. He takes the ship and manages it himself. As the story continues, Jim meets more characters and his influences change from the doctor and the squire to now the captain, Long John, and Gray. Originally, at the beginning of the novel, Jim saw mainly the doctor as his mentor, as his role model, and his father figure. And then now that Jim is maturing more and he's experiencing all these new things, and he meets Long John, he admires him and he creates a special bond with him. It is also more evident at the end of the novel that Jim's influencers and role models change from the beginning of the novel towards the end of the novel, because at the end of the novel, Jim does not mention the doctor nor the squire, but he mentions Ben Gunn, the captain, and Gray, and especially Long John. Okay, ultimately, in my opinion, I believe that Jim still sees the doctor as a father figure. I mean, he was the one that Jim went to after his father passed away. He's the one that confided him with the treasure map. However, I do think that he took the most guidance from Long John and saw him as a mentor, especially towards the end of the novel. And I think Jim will be more of a law-abiding citizen than a pirate, but it could be both. I mean, I think since those two worlds collided together, both doctor and the pirate, he can be maybe a mixture of both. Jim's character evolved, changed, grew, developed dramatically throughout the story. He did many things, he experienced many things, he met different people who impacted him, influenced him, and shaped him to the young man he became at the end of the novel. However, do you think if Long John was not in the picture that the doctor would be his ultimate role model, mentor, and father figure? Let me know.